Hey folks, how you guys doing? What is up, Justice Warriors? We are on live. I know I'm surprising myself and everybody else, so I apologize for the lack of a good warning. But if you are ready and able and you happen to be watching, please say hi in the live and I'll know that you're here. I know at least one of my mods was coming in, so um I will go ahead and ask that you hit your like button and do the old, let's see, where should I put that? Set that down over here. Do the share, subscribe, ring your notification bell. Oh my goodness. A one-way street. Hello, hello. So you guys, I did it. We did it. You did it. I just got above the 4,000 threshold for my numbers of subs. So I know it's not a lot to some of these bigger channels, but it's a lot to us little channels. So it's really exciting. So hey, Leslie and Pamela, good evening. So it is 11:10, almost 11:11 Ohio time. And if you guys want to say what time zone you're in, what state you're in, what country you're in, we don't like to be too specific, like, you know, not you don't need to say what city you're in. But if you want to share, it's always fun to know where everyone's at. Um, so why did I come on live? Mostly because I miss my people. It's very fun doing the interaction as opposed to just, talking. So let me do my little disclaimer. Everything I say is simply my opinion, simply for the sake of conversation, hoping to open up a discussion with you guys. I hope to learn something. I hope that it's educational for myself and for others. And all my videos are made specifically for YouTube, which is an entertainment platform. So, have we had any new folks strolling in? Pamela, 8:10 Washington time, West Virginia, Kansas, 10:10. Nicole Clark and Sherry Urbivan. How on earth do you say that? Urban. Okay, I think I got it. Oklahoma. So, all right. Remember, I say I'm just going to give up with the last names and just stick with the first names because it gets rough, doesn't it? Hairball. So I found my glasses. I could not believe that when I couldn't find my glasses last night. That was hilarious. And it's really hard for me to read my notes without my glasses, but I went over them with a pencil to make letters big. And so I knew what I was looking at. But then if you saw that video from last night, I forgot that I had a page two and I hadn't gone over that. So that was a little tricky. So yeah, you guys, that video that I made last night, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's one, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's not like it's my best video. It's not like I'm on fire or anything. I'm actually kind of like loopy because it's late at night and I'm sharper in the early part of the day. That's why I would do my lives earlier. I was like a morning live person just because I know that I'm much more on top of my game. But it's just been harder and harder to get them going. So, yeah, this whole thing with the freaking leaked video surveillance cameras from the apartments around the neighborhood the night of the homicides. Holy crap, man. I feel like it's the fire cams from the Kylie Rodney case all over again. Seriously. Like, I honestly don't understand how anybody can say that it's this person or that person or the other person. It could be any random people who live around there or who are visiting around there or are heading out to work or leaving their girlfriend's house or their boyfriend's house or anything, anything. Um, in fact, it could even be people from the sorority, the fraternity coming in as a cleanup crew. Like, seriously, it could be anybody. Like, even if it's a white Elantra, there's a ton of white Elantras, a ton of them. So I don't know about you guys. I'd love to hear some other opinions. I just feel like those videos are kind of worthless. Like I enjoy watching some of the channels like Zav Girl break it down. She does a really good job with that. Just like people did that with the Kylie Rodney FIRECAM. But I never bought into that, and I haven't yet bought into this one. So I'm curious if other people have. Um, Irvin, got it. The B is silent. If it's real, it changes the timeline. Exactly, Leslie. Thank you so much for saying that. Let me highlight that, you guys. So yeah, they're pushing the timeline back, aren't they? Pin that message. Um, they want it to be later and later. So if you guys didn't see, I put up a really silly community post earlier today with a screenshot from one of Harsh Reality's videos from today. And it's a screenshot of Dylan saying in harsh letters, what did it say? Oh, I don't even think I wrote it down here, and now I'm not going to be able to remember. It said something like, I was frozen for 8 hours. Don't ask me. I was frozen for 8 hours. Don't ask me anything. I was frozen for 8 hours. Seriously. I was just like, yeah. And then she fell into a well, and it took Lassie 8 hours to find Timmy for help. Like, ah. Anyway, um, that community post is hilarious. Thanks. I liked it, and I, gave Harsh his due credit, of course, because he was the one who came up with that. That man has a great sense of humor. I get a lot of laughs, and I really needed that laugh. I don't know if you guys could tell last night, but I've had a heavy couple of days. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to talk about it. A tragedy. So prayers for people close to the tragedy. These cases that we talk about are real life tragedies. And I feel like I never lose sight of that. But at times, it feels like overall the true crime community might at times lose sight of that we're dealing with real people, real families, real lives, stolen lives. It's effed up. It's really effed up. And what's today? Today is the 6th of July. Was yesterday Xana's birthday? I'm kind of messed up on my days because of the holiday, and that was the day that something super tragic happened. Um, as often does on those types of holidays. And yeah, it was fatal. It was really, really fucked up. I'm just gonna say it sucks. So I figured some of my people might have recognized that in the video that I made last night. I was pretty freaking somber. And, I didn't want to talk about it, but I also like to be straightforward with you guys and tell you where I'm at. And thank you, Pamela. Fortunately, it wasn't my family, but it was really close. Really close proximity, physical proximity. Um, and I saw way too much. I saw way too much. Yeah, it sucked. Um, so like I said, I was really happy to see Harsh's post because that gave me a great chuckle this morning. I know, not another tragedy. Leslie, fortunately, this isn't a family or friend, but it still sucks. Sucks. And like I said, I saw way too much. And it's crazy. So let's get into this case. Like I said, I just wanted to tune you guys in and, prayers for all the families that have lost loved ones. I lost my mom, what, a year and a few months ago, and I'm getting more into the swing of things, but it's so hard. And she was 80, and she was 79. She'd be 80 now. She was very sick for 10 years. She had kidney failure. So, even with that, it's so hard to lose a loved one. And losing a child is just the most unthinkable, unnatural series of events. Like we're supposed to pass away before our kids do. That is just heinous. So anybody who has to live with that for whatever reason, my heart breaks for you. So my condolences. So yeah, I do feel like I'm dealing with a lot simply because I have 4 kids. And, and as you know, my older son just shipped off to boot camp. So da, da, I finally have a studio for the first time in the 10 months that I've been doing this, almost 10 months. Um, and so I'm totally excited about that. And, I'll be fine tuning it. But yeah, I won't be having to move my stuff around like I normally do, like a nomad. So, oh my goodness, Leslie, I'm so sorry she lost her child. Mm. Can I highlight that if you don't mind? Replace pinned message. Yeah, it was somebody's child and on the 4th and absolutely fucked up. So, um, let's see. There is this whack job. Have you guys heard of Katie Sorensen? Totally different case. She was a social influencer. Paula Plunder had been covering her for the last couple of years. She made up a fake kidnapping story, attempted kidnapping story. Katie Sorensen. So she's getting, she was just recently sentenced, I think, but she made up this whole fabricated lie of a specific couple that she said tried to kidnap her kids. This was to get more viewers and to make money with her TikTok or whatever the heck it was, Insta, something like that. Katie Sorensen. So I've watched a couple of Paula Plunder's videos about her, and Paula does a really good job talking through the whole thing. But the thing that struck me about it, because I was listening to one of them today, is that this Katie Sorensen threw this couple under the bus, this Latin American Hispanic couple that she said attempted to kidnap her 4-year-old boy and 1-year-old daughter. And they were parents. They had 5 kids. This was in Petaluma, California. So it's a pretty relatively tight knit community. And she was flat out lying, and it took them a while, but they were able to dismantle her story by putting a bunch of surveillance videos together that were inconsistent with her story. But throwing these strangers under the bus for fun, for sport, to make money, to get views. You know, if you didn't see my video last night, I think it's the closest I've ever come to saying straightforward my suspicions about one of those 2 Brett Paynes. So, um, that's the title of the video from last night, the 2 Brett Paynes. We've got the 57-year-old Brett James Payne. I got confused. I was mixing them up. And then we have the now 34-year-old Brett Brett Matthew Payne. So both the 57-year-old and the 34-year-old just had their birthdays in June. So they just turned those ages. So that brings Brett's brother's age. I don't know Kyle's birthday month, but Kyle's 2 years older than Brett. So he's pretty much the same age as Kopaka. He definitely graduated high school the same year, and they were from different towns in Idaho. I think that Kopaka graduated high school in Idaho. That's what I found. I did hear somebody on one of the channels, I think yesterday, saying that they thought he might have graduated high school in Spokane or something like that. But I'm glad that more people are looking at Kopaka. And with all respect for a veteran, and also for the Payne brothers. They're both veterans. So my concept is that all 3, Brett, Brent, and Kyle, all being paratroopers and deployed in Afghanistan, that they could all have complex PTSD. I know Kyle is still in the military, he's career military, and then Brett got his master's degree. If anybody knows what he got his master's degree in, I've not been able to find that out. But so these two Brett Paynes are both connected to that South Hill meats and locker and butcher. Those are the words that are kind of rearranged and used in the different names that that business has had over the 8 or so years that the two Bretts have owned it, the two Brett Paynes, the 57-year-old and the 34-year-old. So the younger one is BM, the initials, and then the older one is BJ. So Brett James is the older one. Brett Matthew is the younger one. I think it's important. I think when this case first started, people were like, oh, whoever did this had to be a butcher. Whoever did this had to be an avid hunter. Whoever did this had to be a trained assassin. And people keep looking at Kopaka because he had that type of training. And so did the Payne brothers. They had the exact same training. So Brett served in the 82nd Brigade like Kopaka. Kyle served in a different brigade. I want to say like the 4th Brigade or something like that. And then Kyle and Brent overlapped for 1 month in 2009 when uh, Kyle Kopaka had just graduated with his bachelor's degree, and then he enlisted, and Kopaka was just finishing up because he went straight out of high school. So they did overlap for some time. It might have been a month, it might have been a year. I'm not 100% sure. I've done a lot of digging, I've found a lot of information, but it bothers me that people want to put Brent Kopaka in a bad light because even in my suspicions that he may have had some involvement and that's why he flipped out and then had that terrible SWAT incident. I've personally never seen him as like the assassin or the bad guy. I've seen him as potentially the IT guy that um, turned off the internet, basically, that made the University of Idaho go dark that night from about 11:30 until 6 a.m. And I'm not sure the exact times when it was down, but it was Nerdy Addict that found that out. And it's consistent with a coordinated effort. And if Kopaka had been instructed to do that, and then this happened, and then he saw that he was involved, that's sort of how I've thought that possibly he had any connection to this. Um, but I don't know. And these are just questions that I'm asking, of course. I have honestly no clue who did the unaliving. And it needs to be known. And I'm 100% convinced that Co-berger didn't do it alone, if he did it. And I'm sick of even entertaining the idea of if he did it, honestly. I know that might sound a little crazy to some people. Sorry, not sorry. Um, so let me drink a little water and see what you guys are saying up here. Um, yeah, I'm so sorry, Leslie, for your loss. That is super sad. That's just tragic. I can't imagine. Um, yes, that lady is nuts. Oh, me? No, I'm just kidding. You're probably talking about the one Paula Plunder was covering, and I hope. I mean, I'm sure some people think anybody is nuts to question if Co-berger is guilty when the freaking knife sheath and all these other things that really don't add up. I mean, him cleaning out his car in Pennsylvania 6 months after this occurred, that doesn't make sense. I mean, that was probably just his OCD cleaning out the car. It could be, but he would have cleaned it out a long time before that. And then the whole thing with gloves and playing in the neighbor's garbage. He could have been, other people have said this, throwing away some of his garbage in their garbage because his had too much. You're only allowed a certain amount, and theirs had some space available. He could have been like dumpster diving. Like maybe they put out some nice furniture on the curb for the trash to pick up. And he was like, hey, cool chair. I mean, who knows? But for him to be touching a neighbor's garbage to me is not that strange. I mean, that's just me. I admit I've touched my neighbor's garbage once or twice, probably more than that, for this reason, that reason, or the other reason. Maybe he was even like helping them take it out, or maybe it got knocked over and then it's being misconstrued. I just don't buy the whole story with 12 minutes or 9 minutes or whatever this theory is, with one person who has zero history. He has a history of being arrested. No, not even arrested. Um, oh no, was he arrested for stealing his sister's phone? I mean, his father turned him in and he had to deal with some court proceedings. So maybe he was arrested, but probably not cuffed. But that was 9 years ago and he was 19 and it was his sister's. I'm not saying that it's okay that he did that. I'm just saying they've had 7 months to dig up all the dirt that they can find on this guy, and they've tried to say, oh my God, he's related to this missing person and that deceased person. And no, they haven't found him connected to anything except his sister's cell phone and a really bad date that same year. And I do like to say, let me just have a little humor here. If he did text that girl after the date and tell her that she had good birthing hips, then absolutely crucify him. Get the firing squad. You do not tell a girl she's got good birthing hips. So, anyway, let's get back on this. It was really racist too. It was, Leslie. Yeah, so did you watch that Paula Plunder? I love her. She was one of my first channels that I really got into. And honestly, she was one of the first people to encourage me to start my own channel. And I was like, what? Me? So she was the one who planted the seed, and she was very supportive and encouraging. So I really appreciate that about Miss Paula Plunder. Um, let's see. Crime Watch with Kenny. How goes it? And Dan from Spokane. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? Um, yeah, Crime Watch. I saw you in Shan's Quick Live. Was that last night or was that today? It all just blends together, doesn't it? I've been so crazy busy lately. I thought I would say hello before sleep time. I hope you're well. I am doing well. Thank you, Crime Watch. I had shared with the viewers that there was a awful effed up tragedy on the 4th of July, and a younger person, it was a fatality. And I was witness to some of the aftermath, and it was just awful, absolutely disgusting and awful. Um, so it really shook me up. And I did a video last night and I hadn't mentioned anything. And I thought when I reviewed that video, I thought people who know me probably can tell that something was very different. I get really emotional when something big goes down. For at least 24 hours, I am completely out of sorts. I'm not myself. I was honestly surprised that I was able to make a video. Maybe because I was so tired, I that like kind of gave me a filter or took away the filter. One of those things. Anyway, I hope the whole truth comes out in this case. I was raised in that area. Yeah, yeah, I have family around there. Uh Pullman and Spokane. Um, Nancy MBP caught you live after your bedtime. What a pleasant surprise. And way to end the evening. Yay. Well, I just found out today that I have tomorrow off, so I don't have to get up as early as I usually have to in the morning. So that was a nice surprise. Normally, I don't like it if I have no notice and have time off from my regular job because, you know, I like my structure and my routine, but with the holiday and with what went down on the holiday, I was actually really glad uh, at the end of the day when I was told that I have tomorrow to myself. Yay. So I can stay up all night with my friends online and then sleep till noon. So let's see. It's very nice to be here with you guys. Thank you so much for joining in. And I'm going to grab my creepy thumb again. Please hit that like button if you'd be so kind. My mod might have fallen asleep. She said she was coming in, but I have a handful of mods, so I don't know if any of them are watching. Let's see. Oh, Murphy. Nicole Clark, hello. I'm gonna highlight you there. Maybe it was Murphy the dog who did it because they never paid the cheese tax. And Dylan and Bethany do, which is why they were left alone. Um, you know, I've always thought that Murphy is very sus, and I don't buy Murphy's story at all. Um, I mean, of course, I'm kidding, but the story with Murphy doesn't add up. Kaylee's sister and mother and father have all said in interviews consistently that that dog slept with those girls and that those girls slept in the same bed together. They were like sisters. They had been best friends since they were 11. And this was the first time they lived together, you guys. They'd only been, I think Kaylee only moved into that house a few months before she moved out, right? So this was their first cohabitation together, and they slept in the same bed. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. They like to snuggle, and the dog snuggled with them. So for that dog to be in the room that it allegedly was in from, let's just say 4 a.m. until noon, I don't know. I don't know because Dylan and Bethany are saying that, you know, nobody saw anything until noon and then they called. So I don't believe that. I don't believe that that dog was in that room for 8 hours, period. Anybody with a dog knows that that dog would have an accident, no matter how well trained. That's too long. And as a puppy, it was only a year old, not even a year old. So yeah, I forgot about that. As a freaking puppy, that would have been a lot of accidents. So let's see. Right, Dylan, not Doolin. Um, the time flies so quickly, doesn't it? The time difference makes it difficult to catch your lives. I try my best to stay awake, but always succumb to the Sandman. Well, and sleep is so important. I mean, it is the most important thing. And, you know, I'm so into my true crime. I like to stay up and enjoy as much of it as I can. You know, it's very satisfying to me. I feel like, in a way, I mean, this might sound goofy, but you guys might be in the same boat. I feel like we are crime fighters and we're justice warriors. We are fighting for these people who can't fight for themselves. And then these families, some of these families can't fight for justice. Like you look at Gabby Petito's family, like she has a mother and a father and a stepmother and a stepfather that are completely dedicated and love her so much and care about her so much. And they are fighting hard. And I love seeing that. Don't you? I love seeing that they are going to take it all the way to the end. But a lot of these families don't. And I think that that's where I'll just speak for myself. I have codependent tendencies, and I tend to want to come in and help and pick up the slack. And I know that that can be unhealthy and misguided. I try to be very careful. That's why I ain't never going to go real life on nobody. I'm never going to be one of those people that does that. And I'm not saying like, oh, one of those, like I'm above that. I'm just saying that's different from what I would do. Some journalists and YouTubers, which are like journalists, like to do the boots on the ground and talk to people and show up in person. That's completely not me. Completely 100%. Like I won't ever touch anything like that. And that was, I think, sort of the training that I got from the two channels that were like my oh mentors. It's like, yeah, you don't go real life, period. It's gonna be bad if you do. It's gonna go sideways, even if it doesn't at first. It will. It's pretty much guaranteed, right? Alrighty, where are we at? You're a real party animal, Jazz. Oh, you're funny. Um, yeah, my idea of a good party is, drinking my water and eating my vegetables, and I am 100% serious. I am 100% serious. Like, and anybody who eats their vegetables knows you get immediate gratification. It's like you're high off of life, you feel good, you feel healthy. It's what our bodies need. My grandmother was always drilling that into my head. She grew her own vegetables. She had a huge organic garden and she fed me her vegetables and, wasn't that interested. I liked peanut butter and graham crackers and stuff that younger people like. And yeah, she got me to like a lot of veggies because she was really good at growing them and really good at preparing them. So, anyway, my little soapbox, eat your vegetables. My grandmother was right, and we all know it. Like we all feel great when we eat our veggies, and we don't feel good when we don't eat our veggies. So, I'm really happy that I've been in recovery for over 30 years. And I don't say that to brag. I say that to give hope for other people that are in recovery or struggling with addictions. People who knew me when I was a party animal would never believe that I would have cleaned up my act and been this far down the road. So I can really identify with the girls that lived in this party house 100%. Um, let's see. So yeah, I used to do a lot of partying. I never liked to drink that much, thank goodness, because yuck. But yeah, he needs some therapy. I feel for him. You know what, Dan? I haven't voiced it very much because, I'd like to stay positive. I don't like to talk about the things that I don't like. I like to talk about the things that I do like. But I was very offended by Kaylee's ex-boyfriend making social media pages for Murphy and asking for gifts for Murphy. I thought that was freaking tacky AF. And what is it sort of like he's trying to use this cute puppy to get a new girlfriend or something? I don't know. I mean, I think it's just very self-serving. I think he's trying to get sympathy. He's trying to say, "Oh, look at me, I'm so cute with my puppy dog page." And then, for people to be buying things on Murphy's wish list, like that's absurd. Like you can do something more constructive. Come on. We need dog psychic Todd Segal. Busted flush. If Murphy could talk, I'm sure he could tell us a lot. Like I'm really curious who let him out. The original story I heard was that he was let out by Kaylee and Maddie at about 2:30 in the morning when they came home. But if they came home at 2, closer to 2, right before 2, they would have let Murphy out right away because he would have needed to go out. And you know, just Murphy's whereabouts the whole day, I think, have been left out. All of these people's whereabouts the whole day has been left out. We don't even know if these people went to their football game that was lost to UC Davis that night, do we? I mean, I've never heard any confirmed story that any of them did go or any of them didn't go. And that just seems crazy. It's like the university is just trying to distance themselves from this case as much as possible. Always with the off-campus housing, like barely off campus. It's where sorority people live. Like you can't live in that house if you're not in a sorority. It's basically campus. Like, yeah, I know technically it's not, but and have they destroyed it yet? Have they destroyed that evidence? Why was Kaylee allowed to have Murphy at that house? Nicole Clark, that's a good question. Everything everywhere says that that rental property, no pets allowed. That's a really good question. And yeah, um, I've I've thought about that once or twice, but I'm so glad you said that because I haven't thought about that in a long time. Um, for her and Jack to get a dog the year before, I think it was December of 2021. Um, it almost seems like a couple that's having a baby to try to save them. I mean, their relationship was shaky from the time it started, it sounds like. They were on again, off again for 5 years, and she was always blocking him on her social media because he was so freaking inappropriate with his disgusting comments. I don't know why she didn't delete his disgusting comments, but, it's easy to see why she had him blocked for a lot of the time. Um, "Why have a pet if they don't sleep with you?" Aw, Dan, that's cute. Yeah, I agree. 100%, absolutely. Um, some creators, others are a disgrace to the true crime community. I watched a YouTuber go across the crime scene tape yesterday on a live stream while an entire open panel watched and laughed along. Wow, I'm curious. Like, I don't want to like call people out, but if you wanted to mention, if you felt comfortable, I wouldn't mind it if you dropped the name. That's pretty wild. Because yeah, I would be interested in checking that out to see what you're talking about. Congrats on 4 million, 4,000, 4K, but we'll go with the 4 million, right? Enjoy your videos and lives. Great reminders to eat healthy. It's all about exercise too. And I'll be honest, I haven't been exercising as much as I like to. I love exercising, just like I love eating vegetables. So, I did swim a whole lot on that day that I lifeguarded, and that was awesome. And I'm thinking, okay, I need to get back to the pool and do that as my routine because it's just gotten too hot for the walking that I usually do and the gardening that I like to do. And to me, gardening is like outdoor yoga, basically. Um, let's see, at the King Roadhouse in Idaho. How far behind am I? These aren't giving me the times right now. I'm not too far behind. Let's see. What up, Justice A to Z? Hey, Rusty, Toby Toes. And if I missed anyone, I apologize. Let's see. Janine, if Dylan could hear Murphy playing with Kaylee, then she would clearly hear him crying or pacing, scratching the door. So WTF. I think I heard Harsh saying something like that today too. Um, that yeah, if she is claiming that she heard Murphy playing with Kaylee, and she claims that she heard somebody kind of whisper, "I'm here to help you." Um, her story doesn't add up. Her story simply does not add up. She's not a witness. She Fry says she's not a witness. Bethany's not a witness. But wait, she saw a person with her own eyeballs and she heard people and she's not a witness. And she was there on the same floor and she's not a witness. Like this gaslighting and doublethink is out of control crazy. Out of control crazy. I like to call those to the not witnesses. Um, because yeah, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I wondered about that. Was Murphy at home with her or was the dog with Jack? Exactly. Where was the dog all day? And I have heard that they crated him, and that's what you need to do with a puppy, especially. And when they're a year, not even a year old, 10 months old, they're still a puppy, 11 months old. Well, wait, no, they got him a year prior, but he probably would have been well over a year by then. But still, dogs like their crates. They like that security, and then they don't go to the bathroom in their crate, of course. I reported to the authorities. Let me check and see if it's still up. Oh, Danielle, good for you. Good for you. Um, yeah, let's talk about that Joseph Morris for a second, because that content creator was accused of fabricating that videotape with the sound. And it seems to me that it's confirmed 100% that he did fabricate some crap and put it on his channel. But doesn't he still have his channel? Um, it's just weird the way I don't understand YouTube. but but also these other tapes that are leaking, I just don't buy it. I think that, we're in this forum on YouTube where everything's videos. So the gaslighters, when they're trying to like counteract all the web sleuthing, they want to have a video to counteract that. Sometimes they have a fake letter that they don't show you, but they really like to have a video that they can show you. And this thing that just was leaked a couple days ago, it really seems like that freaking FIRECAM. I think it's a pile of garbage. And I know I've heard people say that, oh, it's absolutely valid and this, and this, and those people that don't think that are, off in left field. Um, yeah. Took screen recording, Danielle. Good for you. Good for you. There's a picture of Xana Palooza yesterday, Jasmine, Jack Decord, Jake, with other kids all together. So effing sad. So effing sad. And so you guys probably saw that community post that I did yesterday, where I mentioned it was her birthday. And it's a still shot of her interacting with Brett Matthew Payne when he came to the house for a noise complaint. I mean, imagine how frustrated these police were with that house being a party house, having noise complaints, like multiple. That one that Xana's intoxicated and speaking with the two police officers. I believe that was September 2nd, and I believe that they had a noise complaint call the night before on September 1st, and I even think that that might have been the second call that night, but I'm not sure about that. Um, but it's just weird that the police knew this house so well, and we all know how weird it was when Blaker walked up to the house with the other officer, and I'm not sure who that other officer was. I don't think I think at one point I thought I knew who it was, but then I found out that wasn't the right person. Anyway, we know that Sergeant Blaker was one that walked up there to the back door, which was trespassing, and said, "Oh, no access to the balcony." Like, why the F are you looking for access to the balcony? Like, what's going through your head, dude? Like, really? That's sus, in my opinion. That is super sus. Um, I also wonder what the thermostat was set to at the house, Nicole. Good thought there. And how loud is the furnace when it kicks on? The ones at my place are very loud, is very loud. I can't hear anyone that comes home when it's on. Well, this house had hardwood floors all the way through, and people who'd been in that house and lived there said that sound really traveled. Um, I thought Murphy was in his crate, but not sure where I heard or read that. I have heard that once or twice, but I've heard many, many more uh, times that he was just in that room, not in a crate. Um, let's see. Hattie Barnett, hello. What exactly did they do wrong? If it's the one I saw, it might have been a little tacky, but no foul, no harm. Let's see. What state was it in? Can you say that? That is interesting. It was forced air heat in that house. You are right. It was probably loud when kept on. And it was so cold that night, you guys. It was 25 degrees. I've done some research on that. It was 25 degrees that night. So really freaking cold. Um, let's see. I tried to send the link, not sure it worked, but the channel is Thou Shalt Not Kill True Crime. Yeah, yeah. One of the first videos I saw of his was when he went to Jack in the Box to try to talk to the people that worked there about the whole Jack in the Box thing. And I thought that was not my cup of tea. But to each their own. Dylan was one on same floor and saw Brian. Well, she saw some bushy eyebrows, and honestly, I don't think he has bushy eyebrows. I've seen way bushier. So, and the whole thing with the bushy eyebrows is just nuts. Like, just the whole description of him, athletically built but not muscular. I mean, just bizarre to me. You can't ID somebody by their freaking eyebrow, you know? I don't like to be too lighthearted about this case, but sometimes I almost want to refer to it as the bushy eyebrow killer, the alleged bushy eyebrow killer. I think that story's crap. I think that Dylan and Bethany are in up to their eyeballs and that they've got some kind of deal worked out where they'll go along with whatever to get um, reduced charges. That's just my conspiracy theory opinion. But yeah, for them to be in the house, for Dylan to say she texted everybody, but I've never heard that she texted Bethany. So if she's texting everybody because she's worried, then she should be texting Bethany too. But calling, right? She called everybody. And the whole thing with all those texts and calls, or one text, 10 calls to Jack D. Never an answer on why Jack had his fake alibi. His alibi changed. He was at the corner club. His first alibi was he stayed home. He stayed in. He was too tired because he worked all day. I've never even heard where he works. So I'm wondering what that's all about. Like, there's so many holes in this case. It's nuts. The whole thing with Xana and Ethan in the 5 hours. Don't get me started on the dumpster with the brain sitting on it. And I was happy to see that Hard Truth just did a video or two on that recently because I haven't seen a lot of people cover the brain on the dumpster. And I would think that a lot of people would want to cover that because it's extremely concerning and it's hard, solid fact, according to the police records from the Moscow PD, that oh, J is for Justice got that in a dump that she had requested all of the calls to Moscow PD during that week. And that was one of the only ones that I thought was extremely interesting. Extremely interesting. Yeah. Let's see. Next week it'll be 112 and 113 where I live, and there is no going outside during that heat. Oh my goodness. Deanna, I literally thought you were doing the thing with the numbers like 1122, like the address. And I'm like, what do you mean it's going to be 112? What do you mean it's gonna be 113? You must be in Texas. Ouch. Yikes. Dang. I didn't see anything that should be reported to the authorities, just saying. Well, and maybe you guys are talking about two different channels. I don't know, but that one channel was mentioned. Oh, so familiar. Prosser Fire Cam. Ugh. And when that FireCam video was released, it was sent to a whole bunch of content creators like it was privileged information and that they were one of the few that were getting it. And I'm pretty sure that everybody that I know that got it, that opened that email, got a virus in their computer. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was connected to Megan Cole. Remember? That was the whole thing with Megan Cole when she first came out on the streets of YouTube to say, "Oh my God, there's this big thing that's coming in 24 hours, and I'm here to tell you about it, but I can't tell you what it is." Ah. You don't cross crime scene tape. No, you do not. Ever. You call that no harm, no foul. You are not a party to the case, so your opinion on the matter is irrelevant. It is illegal, period. Yeah, you definitely don't cross crime scene tape. If you have permission, like if you're family and they say okay, but even family normally, no, they're not going to. Um, Are you encouraging your viewers to report YouTube creators to the authorities? I would say that that's not something that no. No, if somebody wants to report somebody because they think it's unethical, then I fully support them in doing that. Um, but Patty, I feel kind of uh offended that you're trying to put words in my mouth. So I'm just gonna let you know that doesn't sound right. Like you're trying to say that I want to encourage viewers to report YouTube creators. That's crazy because YouTube creators already get a bad rap. I mean, we have mainstream media mocking us constantly, like we're a whole bunch of goofballs that are just like rogue doing crazy stuff. So, no, there's a lot of awesome content creators and my thing is I say to each their own. Everybody does things differently, and nobody needs my approval. You don't need my approval to report somebody, and you don't need my approval to do your channel the way you want to do it. The creator went to that neighborhood on a Friday night after 11/22 happened, loud screaming, partying, young people running around. Yeah, just the whole thing with the body cam footage from right in front of the house, like pointing at the house, like right around that time, like 3 a.m. But that was when the time frame was around 3 a.m. And then they tried to push it to 4. Um, that was just way too much of a coincidence to me. Um, I'm just, I just think this whole case is really contrived and coordinated. And yeah, I'll say it because I believe that. I really do. It's just whacked out. And it kind of feels to me like law enforcement or whoever is leaking information, like they leak this type of information, like these videos, when they feel like they're losing. Because let's see, they just got all those test results back that Co-berger's apartment was clean, his car was clean, his office was clean. There was no evidence where they thought they would find evidence. So, remember a week ago, it was looking pretty bad for the prosecution. And now all of a sudden, with these weird video cameras, and who leaked them? Who freaking leaked them? Like, to me, it's contrived. It's intentional. It's deliberate. It's bullshit. So, um, okay, and I'm not sure what you're talking about here. um, that there wasn't any crime scene tape that I saw. He never stepped a foot onto 1122 property. Should be no worries about being reported if you're doing nothing illegal. In Idaho, Patty Barnett's in Idaho. Good reason to not tear down the house. I hope you get to 4 million someday, Toby Toes. You never know. I mean, the way I am either pretty hardcore about whatever it is that I do or I don't do it. So I like to do things, and I'm amazed that I've been doing this pretty much every day for it'll be a year on January 1st, or I'm sorry, September 1st. January 1st would be like the beginning of the new year. It'll be my new year of being a YouTuber, September 1st, roughly. And in this time, you guys, I have, I think, about 370 videos, and it's, probably um, uh, definitely more than one a day. I mean, I love this. It's really fun. So I do apologize for being a little loopy when it's this late. What time is it? It's 12:05. How long have we been on? Oh my God, we've been on for 56 minutes. It's been pretty chill. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. You're the best. Hey, Andy Libby. Let's see. Yeah, if they tear down that house, I feel like whoever gives the green light for that could be charged with destruction of evidence. I thought it was mid 30s, not much better though. Oh, that night. Yeah, I have always seen 25 to 28 degrees was the low that night. That's what I have found for Moscow. But it gets harder and harder to look it up as time progresses too. So I was trying to look it up just a couple days ago and I couldn't. It was frustrating. This was yesterday crossing the crime scene tape. He does not have bushy eyebrows. Yes. Why was he still in Moscow? He was a few years older than Kaylee, right? Um, if you're talking about Jack D, he actually was the same age as her, wasn't he? Or maybe like 1 year older. Um, yeah, at first, his age was represented that he was older than her. And at first, Dylan and Bethany's ages were underrepresented. Why were we told they were 19 when they were 21? Why were we told that the lead detective was 26 when he was 33 at the time and he just turned 34 now? Like, these are just really stupid, like I said, contrived, fabricated. I mean, it could be accidental, but I don't think so. Especially with Dylan and Bethany, I definitely don't think so. Um, let's see. Wasn't that brain on the dumpster at Sigma Chi? Yes, Sigma Chi, sorry. Yes, it was. It was. And it was that night. And, I feel more confident that that brain on the dumpster was a sign, either like a signal like go or a signal like done. I'm curious what you guys think, but I think that nobody puts a freaking brain on a dumpster. It's crazy. And then no cop is going to be like, oh, it's probably just animal. Like, probably? Like, you better be 100% for sure that it's not animal. I mean, and it's the timing of it. I mean, the timing is everything. It's a bad thing any day, but it's especially bad on that day at that time. And for Brett Payne to take that call on Tuesday and blow it off like it was nothing is sus AF. Sick of this crap. I am sick of it. No sugarcoating. Okay, let's see. Um, JD was allegedly older, yes, just like a year or two, right? Agape love. Because at first I was hearing that JD was 26, I think, or significantly older. And then it became apparent that he was much closer to her age, like not older than 23, but I think the same age, or maybe 1 year, maybe 1 year. Um, but he hadn't graduated and she was graduating, so that doesn't really add up unless he um was taking some time off or something. Where did my water go? It was here. I have it right here. My giant mug, or travel mug. Let's see where we at. Let's wrap her up, you guys. Again, thank you so much for coming into this live. I really appreciate it. It's fun to see you. And let me get caught up. Um, does anyone know what arrangement Kaylee and Jack had for Murphy since she was moving so far from Idaho? I have heard that Murphy was going with her. So she was taking Murphy home. And so she came back for the weekend with Murphy. And then I don't know if it would make sense that maybe Jack would have gotten Murphy while she was planning to be out of the country. But she allegedly was planning on taking Murphy to Austin. Wasn't that, yeah, let's see, I already read that one. Where are we at? This was a field trip to the parking lot where the leaked video was recorded in a stroll around 500 Queen Road. Anyone who lives where it gets 3-digit hot temperatures knows exactly what 112 and 113 totally get it. So yeah, I would think like Arizona and Texas, Florida. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Um, and so yeah, all the places around there too, Nevada, New Mexico, um, probably all the southern states. I know it gets really hot in South Carolina and humid, 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 humid. I heard it was a parent visiting that saw it. Yeah, Agape Love. That was the dumpster with the brain on it was a dad who was dropping off his son at the party, who then called it in on the following Tuesday. Just kind of a FYI. Just thinking that it was weird, and because these uh, crimes happened, that they thought maybe um, they should call it in. Let's see. I don't know if you guys retracted your own messages or if one of my mods is working on that. I have no idea. Let's see. I think you're the bee's knees, cat's pajamas. I love your content. I'm just filling in where you had that cuss word. And I love your content and your style and your approach. Keep up the good work, honey. Oh, that's super nice, Laura. I really enjoy this process. I had no idea that I would enjoy it this much. But I love doing it. Like I kind of go into withdrawal when I don't have a video for a day. It's hilarious. But sometimes I'm okay with it, and I will just roll with it. But yeah, I pretty much like to get on here every single day for something. And a video. I mean, I'll do my community posts for sure, usually when I can't make a video, but it's just not the same. So thanks, Agape Love. I love my background too. It's a little funkadelic, and I'm so excited that I finally got this thing in here. See, I wasn't gonna use this until I had a stable spot, because it could easily break. But these things are just wild. Don't you love them? I could play with that all night. Let's see. It's much better than a lava lamp. And good night, Laura. Yeah, we're signing off here in just a moment. Happy to be with you. Do you ever watch Hard Truth? She's awesome. I do watch her. She's funny. She cracks me up. She's brave. She says a lot of things that are pretty daring. So I'm missing Subconscious Mouth. I don't know why he has not been making videos. But he made one after taking a little hiatus and said that he might not be coming back and that he apologized for taking a hiatus without warning. But yeah, he was really tearing it up. That house needs a cleansing before they knock it down, in my opinion. Energy trap, no flow in the design, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, if you're familiar with feng shui, that house is unhealthy. Have a good night, everyone, and enjoy your night off. Jazz told us about Hard Truth. Yeah, yeah. What about the tripod that was set up filming that night at the university's lawn and caught a girl running? So, and also the tripod on the other side of the house, right, Laura? Yeah, it is. There's so many unanswered questions. Um, Definitely that brain on the dumpster, never just by coincidence. Yeah, I mean, it's completely whack. Um, But remember what Shanda said, zombie trap. And yes, it would be. Um, who is Jazz? I think Agape Love, some people refer to me as Jazz. Some people refer to me as Xena because that was my name that I used when I was before I had my own YouTube channel and I was a guest on What's the Obsession a few times. So it kind of stuck. Let's see, where are we at? Jake is older, Maddie's boyfriend. Thank you, Agape Love. Yeah, I think you are correct about that. And he's not that much older though. He might be like 4 years at the most, but I think less even. I think he was like 23 or 24 when it happened. Um, let's see. Good night, Samaturna on a family weekend. I still believe the tunnels under the house is how I got in and out with no blood tracks. How you got in, Laura Smith? Must be a typo. Or are you making a confession here? Are you the one? Oh man, that's pretty funny. I still believe the tunnels under the house is how I got in and out with no blood tracks. So somebody better screenshot that confession, Laura. You want to correct yourself before I sign off, just so nobody comes, reporting you. Um, Thank you for the reply. Sima says to Agape, me too. That's why we come. We owe it to the victims to try to be their mouthpiece and get this done. I cried yesterday on it says Santa Palooza Day, but I'm sure that was supposed to be Xana Palooza Day in spell checker. Gotcha. Don't you hate that? Um, Idaho is and yeah, I see that you corrected it right there. Idaho is a place I will not go to ever. LOL. Northern Idaho is absolutely beautiful. Oh, I've heard it's one of the most beautiful states in the country. But yeah, it seems like, you know, I know Wyoming is like that too, that you got to be careful where you're going because people are very territorial and they don't welcome strangers sometimes. So, I mean, it's like that traveling anywhere, but I think especially um, Wyoming, in my experience, Idaho, from what I've heard, I think maybe I've driven through Idaho once or twice, but I don't really even recall. I love those A to Z, so relaxing. Now, are you talking about this A to Z? Because that's new. I'm so excited about that. And that's the first time I put it in here too, is tonight. Hey, late night lady, glad I caught you. Hometown finest. Sharon Kenny, yeah, live. Got your computer fixed. Oh, I upgraded. I got top of the line laptop, you guys. I went all out. So yeah, I'm I got to grow into this puppy. I'm really excited. It like costs more than some cars, used cars, not new, of course. Let's see. Um, Hearts and Hedges. There was an amazing shooting star over Lake Tahoe on the 4th. Justice for Kylie Rodney. Absolutely. Justice for Kylie. Yeah, I can't get that girl out of my head. And, people in that town have not been fighting for her. They've been just wanting nothing to do with her, and that's awful. Good night, you guys. I wanted to go to the lithium hot springs there. Unfortunately, they've been closed to the public. Lithium hot springs in Idaho or in Wyoming? I know Montana. Montana, there's some hot springs. Total accident, silly girl. What? Laura Smith? What total accident? Oh, yeah. You typed Santa by accident, or did spell check do it? Because yeah, I know spell check does some silly stuff, and then you hit send, and then you see it, and you're like, ah. But yeah, I always fix things with the little asterisks right after, to show that it was a typo, either that I misspelled it or that the spell checker changed it. And it's so annoying when that happens. So I will sign off. I will do my little thumb one more time because I just love how creepy it is. It's a big thumb, isn't it? And it's like a mold of somebody's hand. So it's super creepy, which is perfect for true crime late night. Um and that's in Idaho, the hot springs. So share the video if you feel like it. I know it's kind of a chill one. A lot of times when I'm doing my videos, I try to like make them action packed. So I talk fast and I'm trying to make sure I'm hitting these talking points. But when it gets late at night, I'm a little loosey goosey. So subscribe if you haven't already. It was 4.2 the last time I checked, so that was pretty cool. And ring your notification bell. I never knew what ringing the notification bell was, but then I started doing it with the channels that I like to watch and uh asking viewers or informing you that if you want to be notified, then you want to hit that notification bell that has the little line over it. Just tap on it and it'll let you. So thank you guys. Have a really good night. Sending you light, sending you love. Have a fabulous Friday. We're already here into it, right? It's 12:21. Hey, perfect time to end. I better hit that button quickly because that's just kind of cosmic with this whole case and all these 1 1 2 2s and everything, right? Peace out. Thanks again. Love you guys. Take care. Be well. See you soon. Hopefully tomorrow. And ending right there.